Dear friends, this is our fourth lecture of combinational Morse logic circuit, part 4. So, in this lecture, we'll cover a complex logic circuit implementation, complex logic circuit implementation using depletion load. Then we'll find its equivalent W upon L, of its circuit, equivalent W upon L, and then we'll implement a complex circuit or a complex logic or any Boolean function using CMOS inverter, using the CMOS, and we'll find a PMOS network and NMOS network. Okay. And we'll find the W upon L equivalent of the complex PMOS network and the W upon L equivalent of the complex NMOS network. And third task is to layout of complex logic and optimization of layout using the Euler's path. Then we draw the optimized layout using the Euler path. So these are the agenda of our today's lecture. So let's start. First is complex logic implementation using the depletion law. Right. So read the complex logic. So complex logic implementation using depletion load and its analysis. So what here we want to implement? So our output function z or f is equal to a into d plus e plus b into c and its complement. So we want to implement this Boolean function using the depletion load inverter. So we have to find out driver MOSFET network, driver MOSFET topology, how the driver MOSFET are connected. So we know the driver MOSFET is between the output and the ground, right? And to implement a plus, a driver MOSFET are connected in parallel. Driver MOSFETs are connected in parallel, and to implement a ending functionality, driver MOSFET are connected in series, right? So let me first divide these functions, right? So we can write the z is equal to, let me call this as a one function a into d plus e, let me call as a z1, and b into c let me call as a z2, right, into inverted. So here it is z1 and z2 are have the o-ring. So to implement this o-ring functionality, to implement z which is equal to z1 plus z2, right? So here the graph of NMOS graph, which is between output and the ground. Both the Z1 and Z2 are connected in a parallel. So this is our Z1 and this is the Z2 function, Z1 and Z2. Now we know the Z2 it is a B Z1 it is equal to A into D plus E. So let me divide into two part. Let me say A into Z3, where Z3 is equal to D plus E. So here Z1 it is an ending with the A into Z3, right? So both the driver MOSFET A and driver MOSFET of Z3 are connected in series. Similarly, the Z2 it is equal to B into C. So B and C both have to be connected also in a series, right? So next step is to between the output and the ground. This line, this Z1, it divided into two parts. One is the A and another is A, and Z3. And this is also divided into, here it is in B and this is the C MOSFET. Right. Now we know the Z3 it is equal to D plus E, So here it is in O-ring. So D and E both are connected in parallel. So between the output and the ground, have the one MOSFET is A, they are the intermediate node, and then D and E are in parallel. D MOSFET and E MOSFET are in parallel, and here have the B MOSFET and the C MOSFET are in series. So this is the graph of complex function A into D plus E plus B into C raised to bar. So this is the driver MOSFET graph. Now let connect the network using this graph. Using depletion load. So using depletion load, it's a VDD. It's a one load MOSFET and it is an depletion type. Gate and source of depletion MOSFET is connected. Now we have to follow this graph, and here it is in our output. Right. So first it is in B, A and B both goes into the parallel. So here it is in MOSFET A. Right. And here this parallel path is for the MOSFET B, and MOSFET B and MOSFET C are in series. So here it is driver MOSFET C, and A from this node B and E are in parallel. So here it is two parallel MOSFET. One is a D MOSFET and another is the E MOSFET. Right, and then all are connected with ground. So here it is ground, and the ground. So this is a implementation of output, which is Z is equal to A into D plus E plus B into C raised to bar, right? So how to implement this is raised to bar. Now let's say in for which combination will get output is equal to 0. So output will get 0 when either B or C will conduct, then also will get this path will connect it to ground and it will make the output is 0. Or A and D conduct, then also by connecting this path will make the output 0. Or A and E conduct, then also it will make the output is 0. or A, D and E conduct, then also it will make the output 0, or when all the MOSFET are conduct, then also it will make the output 0. So output will get the VOL when the different combination. First combination is when B and C MOSFET are conduct, then also will get output is equal to 0. Let's say VOL 1. Similarly, when A and D MOSFET is conduct, then also will get the output is equal to 0. And similarly, when A and E MOSFET is conduct, then also will get the output is equal to 0. Right? It will get the output get the ground path. So for which different combination output get the ground path. So for that combination will get the output is equal to 0. Or when A, B and E all the three is 1, then also will get output is equal to 0. Let me call as in second stage, right? And when all the five r is equal to 1, then also will get output is equal to 0. Then also will get the output is equal to 0. Let's L3. Now we see what is the relationship of different VOL value. So when two MOSFET is 1, either BC or AD or AE, then we'll get the VOL 1 output. Now this VOL 1 output is definitely greater than when 3 MOSFET is 1, A, D and E. So compared to that, this VOL in the case of when 2 MOSFET is 1, it is greater than that when the 3 MOSFET is 1, and this VOL2 is again greater than when all the MOSFET is 1, which is the VOL3. So this is the relationship of when number of MOSFET is 1 for the different combination when output is equal to 0. Right? Why this? Because when 2 MOSFET is 1, let's say we have to add its own resistance of the two MOSFETs. So suppose RO and R1 of these two, and both are in series. So it will be the 2R1 resistance in these three combinations. Now when three MOSFET are in 1, then here actually the R1 and R1, so both are in parallel, D and E. So it will make the R1 by 2 equivalent resistance, and it comes series with A. So it is 3 by 2 R1, it not a 2 R1 resistance, so it is 3 by 2 R1. So resistance between the output and ground will decrease, so it will make the lower value of V1. And similarly, when all the MOSFET R is 1, then if you find the equivalent resistance between the output and ground, it will be the less than the resistance when the less number of MOSFET R is 1. So it will make the even output voltage is more or less compared to when the less number of MOSFET R is 1. Right. So this is the relationship of output low voltage when at a different input signal combinations. Now when we are designing, we have to consider the worst case scenario. When we design any depletion load inverter, we have to be achieve the what should be the minimum output voltage that normally a design specification parameter, right? So when we design such a depletion load inverter Boolean equation implementation using depletion load inverter, the specification parameter is achieve the VOL with some 0.2 volt like that. So when we are designing, we have to see the worst case. We have to design for the VOL1. So VOL1 should be the less than equal to the given in the specification parameter. So once the VOL1 is satisfied, the VOL2 even it is less than the VOL1. So by default it is satisfied. Not it's always satisfied, right? So once the VOL1 satisfied, it will make the VOL2 and VOL3 it is automatically will satisfied. So VOL1 is called a worst case conditions. So you have to take the worst case condition when we design this types of Boolean equations. Now suppose all the MOSFET have W upon L, it's equal, right? Then when we are designing the VOL and if you are finding W upon L, so here both the MOSFET are connected in cascade. This if the B and C are 1, then also B and C are in cascade. If the A and D is 1, then also A and D are in cascade. If the A and E is 1, then also A and E are in cascade. So what will be the required the equivalent W upon L that can have? So W upon L we required, it is the 2 times, suppose here the B of W upon L, here the C of W upon L. So equivalent driver W upon L is 2 times of W upon L of A and B. Similarly, if the W upon L of A is equal to W upon L of B or D, we require the equivalent is 2 times of W upon L of driver. Then the W upon L of A, if the A and E R is 1, it should be the 2 times of W upon L of D. So this is the worst case design. So once this satisfied, it by default V12 and V1 will be satisfied. Now next is how to find out equivalent W upon L, right? So here Z, it is equal to A into D plus E plus B into C. So how to find the equivalent W upon L is, so for equivalent W upon L, let me say this is Z1 plus Z2. So what is the equivalent W upon L of Z is equal to Z1 and Z2 are in addition, right? So both are connected in parallel. So its W upon L is an addition. So Z1 plus the W upon L of Z2. Now we know the Z1 is equal to A into Z3 and Z2 is equal to B into C, right? So we can write its Z3 W upon L of Z3, which is equal to Z3 is equal to D plus E. D and E both are in a parallel, so it's in addition D plus E, and the W upon L of Z2, where Z2, B and C are in cascading, right? So in cascading case says how to find the W upon L equivalent. It is 1 upon summation of 1 upon W upon L of B and C. So this it can be write as 1 upon W upon L of B plus 1 upon W upon L of C. C, right? These things. Now, so Z1. So how to find the W upon L of Z1? Where Z1 is equal to A into Z3. So it is like 1 upon W upon L of A plus 1 upon W upon L of Z3. Okay. Now substitute the value of Z3, which is the W upon L of D plus W upon L of E. So 1 upon summation of W upon L of A plus 1 upon summation of W upon L of D plus W upon L of E, right? E. This is the W upon L of Z1 and this is the W upon L of Z2. So let me combine this, we will get the W upon L of our desired equation, which is the Z. Right. So let's find the what is the W upon L of Z. It is equal to W upon L of Z1, which is equal to 1 upon W upon L of A plus 1 upon W upon L of B plus W upon L of E plus W upon L of Z2, and Z2 is equal to 1 upon W L of B plus 1 upon W upon C. So plus 1 upon 1 upon W upon L of B plus 1 upon W upon L of C. So this is the equivalent W upon L when we convert it into the equivalent inverter structure. So this is the how to find the equivalent W upon L, which is most important to sizing the transistor. It is called to find out the size of the transistors. So the sizing of the transistors topic is most important, and you should know how to find out the equivalent W upon L. It is very simple. Once we draw the structure, and then we have to use how to find the equivalent capacitance. The same formula is applicable to find out the equivalent W upon L. The whatever the formula to find out the equivalent capacitance, same formula. It is how to apply to find out equivalent W upon L. Right? Now let implement the same function using the CMOS inverter. Let implement same function using CMOS inverter. Let implement F is equal to A into D plus E plus BC inverted using CMOS. Using the CMOS. Now in a CMOS we know it's have the two network. One network is a P MOSFET network, which is between VDD and output. PMOS network which is between VDD and output, and another network is NMOS network, which is connected between output and ground. Which is connected between output and ground. So this is structure of any CMOS implementations. Right? Now we know to implement the plus NMOS are connected in parallel, and to implement the ending NMOS are connected in series. And PMOS network is dual of the NMOS network. So let me first find the NMOS network. Right? So we already exercise to find out the NMOS network, and we know it is have the branch of A MOSFET. Here having the node, from the node D and E are in parallel. So D and E MOSFET are in parallel. Here parallel with B and C are in cascade. So this is the graph of NMOS network. Graph of NMOS network. Now to find out the P MOSFET network graph, it is the dual of N MOSFET network graph. So we have to find out the dual of this. So how to find the dual? So P MOSFET graph is between the VDD and the output. P MOSFET network is between the VDD and output, right? And in this NMOS graph have the two loops. So let me substitute two node. Let's say it is node 1 and the node 2, N2. Now we have to connect the different node by passing the branch, right? So between the VDD and N1 having a branch A, between the VDD and N2 having the branch B, between the N2 and N1, between the N2 and N1 branch E, between the N1 and output node branch B, and between the N1 and output node another branch C. So if you see the PMOS graph, so PMOSFET graph is between the VDD and the output, VDD and the outputs, and between the VDD and the N1. So somewhere here, let's say the N1, between the VDD and N1s have one MOSFET is A, and between the VDD and N1 through the N2 have the D and E are in series. Here the N2 node and the E MOSFET are in series. And between the N1 and output having the two MOSFET, one is the B and another is the C. So this is the graph of PMOS network. Graph of the PMOSFET network. Right. So from this graph of N MOSFET network, pull down graph. So this is called a pull down graph, and this is called a pull up graph. Pull up graph. Pull down graph and the pull up graph. So let from this graph, let's draw a network. Let's draw the network from this graph. So CMOS implementation of F is equal to A into D plus E plus BC. So P MOSFET, it is between the VDD and the output, and in P MOSFET of A, here have the node, P MOSFET of D and P MOSFET of E are in cascade. Then it's have two parallel B MOSFET and the C MOSFET. This is the output terminal where it connected the output. Okay. And in N MOSFET, two parallel path. In one path, it is MOSFET A connected parallel with MOSFET D and E. Okay. And another path in which MOSFET B and MOSFET C are in cascade. Okay. So this is a CMOS implementation of a given functions. Function is A into D plus E plus BC raised to bar. So here the graph is for the P MOSFET. It is between, here have the N1 node, and here it is an output node. So here have the MOSFET is A, and here have the two MOSFET D and E, and the two MOSFET are in B and C are in parallel in a P MOSFET network. Now we see in N MOSFET network between the output and ground, one path it is an A MOSFET, and here have the two parallel path, one is for the D and one is for the E. So this is for the D and this is for the E. Then in parallel with B and C. So B and C. So this is graph of P MOSFET and the graph of N MOSFETs. Now let to try to draw a layout of this in this structure, right? So here this PMOS, this one is the source, this one is the source, this one is the drain, this one is the source, this one is the drain, and this one is the drain, this one is the source, source, drain, drain. Here it is a drain, drain terminal, source terminal, source terminal, drain terminal, source terminal, source terminal, source terminal, drain terminal, and the drain terminal. Okay. So let me use this to draw the layout. Directly we will draw a stick diagram. Right. So let me draw the stick diagram by using this layout. So it's have the to draw the layout here for the A and E. A drain source terminal of A and the drain terminal of this one is the source and drain terminal of E, source of B. So if we draw the layout, let me draw the layout of this inverter. So it's have some stick diagram. So it's have the P MOSFET, and N MOSFET. Let me draw this layout without the optimizing the input sequence. Let me first draw the layout without the optimizing input sequence, and then we'll optimize the input sequence, and then we'll see what about the change in area requirement in a layout. So this is our N plus and this is P plus P MOSFET, and have the input A. Then let connect the input D, P, input E, input B, then let connect the input D, input D, input D, and then input C. Input C. Now let's see drain terminal of A and drain terminal of source terminal of A and drain terminal of E are short circuited, right? So we can say this is source terminal of A, this is drain terminal of E. So remaining is by default it is a drain of A and this one is the source of A, right? Drain of A and source of A. Now for the P MOSFET, source of A, if you connect here the D, now drain of A and the drain of E, it is common. So we can say this one is the drain of A and this is the drain of E. So remaining is the source, right? Similarly, in a B MOSFET, drain of B it connected with the drain of A. So source of B and drain of C is common. So let's see now B and D. So B and D, let's see, here it is E and here it is in D. So source of A and D are common. So remaining is drain. Remaining is a drain terminal. And drain of D connect with the source of B. So this is B and D. So drain of D it connect the in P MOSFET it's source of B. So let me call this common as source of B and drain of D. So remaining is source of D and here is a drain of D. Right. Now for the N MOSFET, D and there is no D and E relationship, so it is separated. So here let me call that D of B and source of B. Then let me call this side as a drain of D and source of D with connected with source of C. So source of D is also connected with source of C, so S is common and then it call it D. Now C MOSFET for the P, the source and the drain. Now we have to connect as per the connections. So VDD is connected at the source of A and E. So VDD is connected at the source of A and E. So here we have to connect the VDD. Then drain of A is connect with the sources of B and D and sources of C. So drain of A in a P MOSFET, this drain of A in a P MOSFET, it is connected with the sources of B and C and drain of D. So sources of B and D, it is here and here it is source and drain. So sources of B and D. So drain of A it connected with the sources of B and D and it is connected with the source of C. Source of C. Then drain of E it connected with the drain of D. So drain of E it connected with the drain of D. Then the ground is connected at the drain of P MOSFET C. Output is connected with the drain of P MOSFET C and it connect the drain of A, right? So output is connected with the drain of A and the drain of B MOSFET, A and as well as the drain of B MOSFET, right? Then the ground it connected with the source of E and source of B and C. Here we have connected the ground. Then source of B and the source of drain of C is connected. Source of B for N MOSFET, and the source and drain of E is connected with the drain of D. Drain of D. So this is the stick diagram without the Euler path, without optimization, without Euler path, right? So here it's have the vestige of the area. This is the space where it is. We cannot be combine these two due to it not connected, not in common. So this is due to this space is not optimized. So it not area is not an optimized. So it's required the larger silicon area if we have the layout without the Euler path. So now let's see what is the Euler path. So we have to find out the path in a B and this MOSFET. We have to find out the path. And the path which is common in the both without the repeating any branch. We have to find out the path which can cover all the branch without repeating any branch and in particular directions. So let's see one path from the let's see node X. So node X to E and then D and then A and then B and then C. So we have covered here all the branch without the repetitive. So here the path is first E, then D, and then A, and then B, and then C. Now let's see this path is possible in a PMOSFET network or not. It should be possible for the both the net graph PMOS as well as the NMOS. Then we can say it is a Euler path. Now let's see. We start with the E. So then E, then D, and then A, and then B, and then C. Yes, this path is possible in a P MOSFET as well as. So E, then D, and then A, and then B, and then C. Now if we arrange our input in this sequence, first the for polysilicon for the E input, then D, then A, then B and C, it will be reduce the area requirements, right? Let's see. So if you have the in a stick diagram, so it's have the common, some drain and source of the nearer MOSFET will be the common, right? Because it is have the Euler path. So let's arrange the Euler path. So this one is for the E input, this one is for the D input, this one is for the A, this one is for the B, and this one is for the C. And here it is an PMOS and the NMOS. PMOS and NMOS. Now we know the D and E. So for in a PMOSFET, source of one is connected with the drain of another. So let me call this one is the source of E. So this is the drain, and this is the drain of D. Then this is the source. So source and drain of E and D P MOSFET have the common area. Similarly, in N MOSFET, if you see source of D and source of E, it is connected at single node. So we can take this common as a source of E and source of D. So this is common source of E and source of D. Now the source for the P MOSFET DP MOSFET is connected with the source of A. So source of this is D and this is E. So source of D is connected with source of A. So source of D it connected with source of A. So this common is source of D and source of A. So remaining is the drain. Now drain of A is connected with the source of B and C, which is common, as well as the drain of E, right? So what is the near about? It's B. So drain of A is connected with the source of B. So this one is the source of B, and so remaining is the drain. Now drain of B is connected with the drain of C. So let me call this is the drain of C, and so remaining is the source. Similarly, let me complete for the this MOSFET, N MOSFETs. Now for N MOSFET, D N MOSFET drain is connected with the this is the D of drain of D MOSFET, N MOSFET, it connect with source of A. So this side it is source of A, so remaining is a drain. Now drain of A MOSFET is connect with the drain of B MOSFET. So this is the drain, so this common area can work drain for the A as well as the B. So remaining is the source. Now source of B MOSFET is connect with the drain of C MOSFET. So remaining is the source. Now we require the few interconnect. One is source of D and A of P MOSFET. Source of D and A of P MOSFET. It is connected with the VDD. It is connected with VDD. Then the drain of E is connected with the drain and source of AB. So drain of E is connected between the drain and source of AB, and also connected with the source of C. Then E and D source and the C source is connected with the output. It ground, sorry, it connected at the ground, and the drain of BC and the drain of AB. Drain of B and C of P MOSFET, and the drain of A and B of the N MOSFET is connected at the output, and the drain of E MOSFET of N MOSFET is connected with the drain and source of D and A MOSFET. So here we can see the stick diagram of after the optimizing after the as per the Euler path. So we have arranged the input sequence as per the Euler path. First is A, D, A, B and C. So we arrange the sequence as per the Euler path. It's have the two MOSFET, the drain and source, or such common can work for one MOSFET as a drain and another for the source, or can work for both the MOSFET as a source, or it can be having the drain of the two MOSFET. So it reduce the area requirement as well as it's reduce the routing, the complexity of the routing. So if you draw the path, the stick diagram, by optimize the stick diagram using the Euler path, right? So hope it's clear to you, and hope this video lecture you have enjoyed. Thank you for attending the lecture.